Blessed, bro. Oh my God. I wish we started earlier. Who's ready for some boom, baby? Boom! Rise and shine. I don't know if you can hear it from over there, but the eagle just went right past here, bro. Like their shape is so fantastical. Like it literally looks like a B-2 bomber. Have you ever seen a falcon like come down and put its beak down, bro, and bears down on its prey? That bitch just flew past me. You can hear it. Like all the other birds are scattering. You hear it. Wee, wee. Woo. Top predator, baby. Apex predator. And what a morning motivation to start with. This is your morning marijuana motivation. I'm Mark Saint. This is Saint's Addiction. And I'm always on a mission, reach, preach, and teach every morning. But this morning, we're going to talk about the great race. And that's for survival. And let's go. Boom, baby, boom. I hope he flies back, bro. I mean, like if I had a can you hear him? I had a 10-foot pole. I'm doing the stretches this morning. This motherfucker went right here. I wish the thing had started live. Sometimes, right before the lives, there's some really awesome life in life. I bet you he comes back. They're doing something. These birds are onto something. So anyway, the great race, bro. It's the great race, and I've been talking about it for a hot minute because this needs to take place this morning. Marijuana motivation and the idea of interpretation. Maybe I'll just go here with it. I'm gonna stretch this morning up. Stretch up. Like you can hear that motherfucker, right? Like it is super dynamic out here this morning. Let's go. So let's flex men's workout tanks. Let's stretch our lives, and then let's go inside. Gun show, please. And let's have this conversation because I was looking for it last night, almost for 2 nights, because I watch a lot of history, right? I love history. I think history repeats itself. There's so much knowledge that we got from the other guys, right? They already lived it, they're already doing it, and why not learn from it? Well, part of this learning was for a second there talking to the girlfriend. She's like, wait, what? And she's like, why is Macau Portuguese? And I was talking with Trent too, Trent Knox. He's been helping out. And he's like, what's Macau like? And I'm like, dude, Macau's like Vegas, bro, where everything's a little more separated out, but they're just clicked and dragged. If you want a Venetian, click Venetian. If you want a Wynn Resort, click Wynn Resort. Now, I know this for facts because my girlfriend, my ex-girlfriend, Terry and Hale, shout out to you, girl. You're a talented bitch. And not to spit after I say your name, but that's what X's are for. Anyway, did I just hawk Tui in the morning? Anyway, so that's me every morning before it became viral. I've always had allergies and air conditioning and anything like that. But when we were going into it, it's funny that we're talking about this too. Let me throw this in real quick, because this is what's going to end up happening. They were talking about the shock of coming back into America and how we get free waters and our portion sizes and air conditioning. One of my shocks of my life was going into Thailand, and my teacher, the headmaster, she actually was raised without electricity. I mean, I don't know if you've ever met another human being that didn't have electricity growing up in their house, but she didn't. And that's a shocker, bro. Like, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that we can just swipe our way through every problem, that we don't have to be creative if we have money, that all things are fixed with the almighty dollar. And I keep coming back with, there's a different race that you're not seeing. You might try to race to the dollar, but you're not racing to your stability. And that's what ends up changing things, right? When you're on this thing, somebody said, yeah, my buddy's saying thank you very much, bro. And I'm going to just say, how do I say this? I'm on my live, brother, on YouTube. You might want to tune in. Hopefully that works. I don't know. It doesn't, the microphone don't want to work. Damn, I'm going to say on my YouTube live now. Watch. Boom. He just came back from Africa. I'm going to be reconnecting. I want to breathe more than anything. and I want to live more than anything. And I want all the human race to be alive and well. And that's what we're talking about this morning. It's like when you're living overseas and you're in Macau and you're in Thailand and the lady's bitching at you because you didn't turn off your electricity because you're entitled American that's used to having the wastefulness of leaving aircon on. That was extra money. Having a mattress, right? That's extra money. People pay extra money at hotels just to have that mattress right, bro. Just to have their back right, you know? And it's just another thing that we in America we take for granted, right? We're talking to people that might not ever own a car, right? Well, this is the great race now. This is the great divide between wealth and distributorship and allergies and sneezing. Hold on. Yeah. Let's see Haktui girl do that. Then she'd have to get the snot all over her face, beard, and leg. This to start the show. Because that's what life is. And that's what your life is. It's a great race. And unfortunately, it's true. Like, we're racing through technology and AI. We're racing for monetary gain so that our families can survive. We can't exactly provide the perfect life that's not existing yet, right? We got robots, we got AI, but we still have a big wealth divide. And that's what I'm talking about this morning. She had no idea. She had no idea that for basically 100 years, all of us, all these countries from Europe ran and land grabbed from everybody. She didn't know about Montezuma going over into all the into Spain, or I guess that's not Spain, into Mexico, modern day Mexico, and taking Montezuma hostage and trying to run away with his gold. She didn't know that they forced those people to have silver mines, and that silver mine fueled the decline of the Chinese empire. Most people don't get that history repeats itself. Most people aren't studying this, but I'll teach you. And in that great land grab, you're talking about a mechanical advantage, a technological advantage in war when they just built these ships. I'm talking like the new Ferraris of the world, $200,000, $400,000 each ship. Modern day, for modern day inflation, you know, it takes a lot to build a ship. Not only did they kill all the forest of Europe to build these ships, these armadas, the Spanish Armada, the English Armada, trying to battle each other for the world. Everybody's going, she didn't even know about the Louisiana Purchase. And it's like, what is all this? Why is this New Orleans? Why is this way? How did they buy all this land? I'm talking all of North Dakota, most of all North Dakota, most of Montana, all of South Dakota, most of Colorado, all of Oklahoma, most of Texas, like that whole section, bro. All of what's the other one? Basically everything left of the Missouri River was all French colony, right? And then all the way to the left was your boy in Spain. And then all the way up and to the right was the British colonies. And everybody just started putting sticks in the land and saying it was theirs. This is the great land grab, bro. It's not a joke. It really happened. But what ended up happening is something called colonialism, imperialism. This capture that I can come to you with better technology, take over your country, and leave you subjugated. And to this day, these striations exist. The first class, second class, third class rating countries, they exist, bro. And unfortunately, it's fucking true. Here we got some kids yelling, they're coming out to the backyard. But that's what we want. We want that energy. We want that great race. Not the races in La Raza, not your skin tone, homie. The human race. So now the wealth divide starts to divide. Now only the wealthy started having children. Then the population started to decline. In Italy, in South Korea, in Japan, girls are paying for boyfriends, bro, because they can't do it themselves. They haven't been able to maturate. And I hearing it on the phone with my girl last night. I don't know what's going on with this fake ass crime, but when she was on the phone last night with her sister, right? You know what she did? She's 35 looking for a husband, right? She's fucking around with autistic guys or polyamorous guys or whatever it can to get an egg fertilized. And then that was what it was. It was not only you trying to find a mate, but you have to find a mate that's above the poverty line and usually in a country that survives. So not only did we grab everything of fucking land, they called the age of great discovery, right? Like we discovered these lands. The truth is we colonized these lands. We being anyone in the first century or the first world countries. And it was nice to be on top, right? That's what the great race is for. Have enough money, be in a secure country, and provide your seed with future capabilities. Then what happened is a lot of people had the wealth divide, and then people not started to have kids. Then they needed those children for a new workforce and for taxes. And this is a real thing. Like, you can't just even bank on one age gap. It's the next age gap that's paying for your Medicare or your Social Security or your retirement. When you're old, right, you're going to need the young blood to keep the economy up. Here's the thing, though. The most plastic we had in the water, the less testosterone we had, the less money we had, the less children we had. And now it's happening. Now the wealth divide is starting to divide. And that's the great race. The great race to survivability. That you can get your seed before you get too old with a partner that has enough supply so they can make it. And how many women, and I already know about abortions, are quitting on their children because they feel they can't afford it. Like it's too much for them. And I told my girl for the first time ever, you know, you couldn't get unpregnant, right? We didn't have that much contraception. And since 1976, with the advent of the pill, it started to change, right? Roe versus Wade, what I can do with my body and what I'm going to do with my seed. Here's the thing. We threw away our future. Not only did we start murdering our own babies, but we threw away our future. The energy that you have is worthless unless you procreate. You were procreated into this planet, just like anyone else on the farm. It's your job to provide. If you're on the farm, right, every child that that farmer had worked on the farm. It was an agricultural state. You helped your dad out, and then that future went in future, and you had kids, so you had more hands on the farm. Now we don't have a farm, and now we don't have kids. So now we outsource our way to eat, and we outsource our way to procreate, and trying to put $30,000 in a woman's gut just so she can incubate. It's fucked up. This great race is not just a land grab anymore. It's a life grab. And I started to look at it that way. It wasn't just to get on the other side of income and financial security and financial freedom. No, sir, no, ma'am. This is about life. Something way bigger than a scam. Something way better than a email grab for 25 books that you can buy, or buy my book, or buy my course, or any of that shit, bro. Your course is your life. That's it, bro. Destinations unknown, no. But in that, when you start carving your way through your life, right, the Great Grand Canyon, when you start making that path and making that way, all of a sudden you say, what's important to me, right? When it's all said and done, homeboy's like, I made a will for all my kids, but it isn't for a Ferrari. They can do that themselves. Oh, they want to go on vacation. They can do that themselves. This is literally a trust for only when you must need the money, like you got cancer in the hospital, or you're homeless and you need to purchase a house, not a big house, he said in a reasonable city, right? You know, you ain't gonna get the New York penthouse and call that austerity program. You know, for austerity's sakes, you got to cinch up the belt sometimes. For all of us that want everything, we miss the important things. And that's what's so shocking to me. You'll find a way to Netflix and chill. You'll find a way to purchase your feelings, all right? We'll cover up what's inside. Ooh. That's just what it is. But what it ain't, being said, is the human race. And this is what takes place, right? When you become disenfranchised, look at Nigeria. Those women are having what? 5.6 kids per woman per uterus. Here we drop down to 1.2. It used to be 2.7, meaning the first child that you had usually died when you were in the 15th century. When you were in the 16th century, the infant mortality rate was so high, you needed to bust out 6, 7, 9 kids. I think my cousins from one aunt, 9 or 11. And I definitely think my great grandmother had 14 because my grandpa was the 14th or 12th kid from the same uterus, bro. And this is the best of fertility rates with the best of the world's highest power, America, right after the World War. And you have the pinnacle of human civilization. It wasn't technology, it was fertility. And that's the human race. That's the great race that I'm talking about. Not the high Hitlers, not the I'm better than someone, not that kind of race, bro. This is a race to life. Race to life. Race to reality. Back to life. We got to get back to life, bro. And I couldn't believe it. I'm looking at polyester shorts, underwear, comes around the penises. The penises get lower fertility rates. Women are finding hard to find men that are of masculinity and provisioning. You know, like we are desperately not only trying to find someone cute enough and fun enough, but we're also trying to find someone smart enough and thorough enough. And that's where it comes down to. You're racing probably in the wrong direction. You're probably racing towards your career, thinking that they're just going to keep your dead body there. You know what I mean? You'd be another dead cubicle right there. No one would give a shit. And just like, what is it, Moesh Patel or whatever his name was, that he was saying that his dad came to him and he's like, there's 2,000 employees here, son. By the time you die, they'll roll your body away and put somebody right in your space. Then you won't matter. Then we're an NPC. And that's what these young gentlemen have been telling me. I just want to matter. You know, and that's what the other people were doing. They were trying to carve their legends through war campaigns or being an amazing general or being an amazing sailor, and then you become a real man, right? Right now, all these men are trying to be real men behind keyboards. They never had to go on a great race. They never went on a great adventure. They never had to challenge their lives. And the same for the women, right? Now they're in the greatest challenge of their lives where they want to have fun in the sun too, but their fertility years are in their 20s and their early 30s. Then you hit 35, you want to knock all the shit off, and then now all of a sudden you're going to act right. Now all of a sudden you're going to have manners. Now all of a sudden you're going to have respect for men. Now all of a sudden you want to play team ball. Right. So you went from ball hog, it's all about me. Can't get it from me. Kobe. You know what I mean? I'm the star of the show. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, I got to pass it to a teammate, and there's no one around to pass the ball to. And that is the race that I'm talking about. There's got to be a race to fertility. There's got to be a race for the human race, because there won't be a race if we don't do this. That's the crazy fucking part. You ain't going to be like China, where they only got a shot. They only got one shot at World War III because there's no children there. I lived there, bro, for 5 months of my life in Xi'an, where the terracotta warriors are, and there's a missing amount of women. It's hard to tell you, but it is true, because everybody practiced infanticide. You know, they think men are more important than women. So if if you're only allowed to have one child, they killed and aborted all their female babies. Now they need all those uteruses back. Right? Now all of a sudden they need us. It's the truth of it, but it had to be said, bro. All of a sudden, now what matters is life. And just like we saw on the, what's it called? Yeah, there you go. And when we saw it on, what's it called? The Fifth Element, you know, time is not important. Only life is important. And that's what we got to get real with, you know. That's the great race, dude. Is to live a life that's in balance, that's in health, both mentally, financially, and spiritually. And part of that spirituality or that journey is the advent of these children that are crying. Thank you for having those babies. Thank you for putting in that time. Thank you for sacrificing, because most of us, we want to be the top gamer. We want to be the top YouTuber. Our goals are to just have all the money. And I'm after, you ready for this? And the rest of us can hear it. I'm after what money can't buy. That's right. Everything that I want is on the other side of fear. Everything I wanted was on the other side of the world, and everything I wanted was already inside me, right? But channeling that, right? Having good conversations with myself, not having negative reinforcements, not believing in dystopias or lies, right? Like I had to get real with myself. That's why I said just be real yesterday, was when we get real, right? What do you really matter, right? I've been around the world 3 times. What does it even matter if I do 3 more times? It's just one soul ejaculating his pleasures. But here I am, and more than ejaculation, it needs to be fertilization. That's what we need. And we've never been there before where our farm had a famine, or we didn't have enough seed to feed, or failure on a big level. I'm talking like the Irish potato famine, you know, like we just assume that the food's going to be there. We just assume that other people are having babies. And lo and behold, in Japan, they now sell more adult diapers than baby diapers. And in some places in Korea, their hospitals haven't had a birth in over a month. That's scary. That means like a whole section, all the cancers are gone for that whole year. And now coming some Leos. Can you imagine like the whole human race, a whole country not having any cancers that year? What the fuck? You know, like how do you miss that? How did you miss the life, the joy of the daddy, even if they're crying, even if they're loud, even that means you don't go clubbing anymore, right? Like we're so selfish and we're so egotistical and we want to be so shiny. Well, I'll tell you what's more shinier than life. Nothing. That's what we look around. Let me do it again. That's when we look around and see the light of life in the trees, the birds, in the breeze. It's all around us, but we're chasing all the wrong things. People ask me, what do I want out of this, dude? I want what money can't buy, bro. I'm being honest with you, man. You can't give me my self-confidence. It's not on a shelf, bro. And it won't be. And it'll never be. It'll always be tested in a jail cell when I got no money or when the chips are down. I'm sweating my tank top. He did inhale, by the way. 2 billionaires smoking right now. One of us got muscles. One of us got money. I'll let you know which one it is. But that's what it is, bro. In our lives, we have to get real with ourselves. When we got to stop lying. And trust me, we be lying to ourselves all the fucking time. That's what Saints Addiction was. You got to knock off the denial, right? You know, the Nile is not only a river in Egypt. It's a long one, but it's something that we do to ourselves. We go into ourselves and we start lying to ourselves and go, what's important to me? We'll say money, right? What's more important than money? Food. And you're like, well, I need money to buy food. And I'm like, well, I'm looking out here, right back here. And there's a, what do you call this things when you do the garden, the above ground bedded garden, right? We can grow our own food. The planet hasn't stopped fertilizing us, right? The planet hasn't stopped giving us sunshine and ability to grow our own food. But what do? We go into apartments. We pay rent. So now our rent is over our food. And now I know why everybody's on edge. And there it is. You've been threatened, right? Your life is now in a race. And your race is to get as much money so you can keep feeding your family. I get it. But I'm on the race of like, get some chickens, get some above ground beds, and use the energy of the earth so that you can provide instead of racing through the world trying to snap, grab, and cut down. We will know that we can't eat money when we fish the last fish, right? When we chop the last tree and we breathe the last air. We will know that we can't eat money. And that's a Native American proverb. What I find is our values are skewed. And that's why I'm having this conversation with you. Sure, you can have all the power you want. Say you become top dog, you want to be the top thing, then why aren't you giving back? You know, if you make it to the top, why aren't you helping the bottom? And if it's up to us to make these things happen, why aren't we doing these things? Can't get that dog. That's what I've been talking about. Let me blow. Get that dog. Get your dog. Get that focus straight, because once you find out what's more important in you, I found things that are more important than me, more important than money, more important than status, more important than fame. Bro, it's mentality. And that's what I've been talking about this whole fucking time. What's your mentality towards things? Are you the type that can self-sacrifice and say, this is more important than me? My team, my family. And you'll know it too. Because there was just one woman that some kid tried to get abducted in her car and she got shot because she was trying to save her own baby. Most of us would say here, you can easily take my life because this life is new. I've already got laid. I already went to prom. I already been around the world. I could die today and I'll be a happy man. I'm telling you, I'm on borrowed time. And so are you. So what you do with your time will echo in eternity. That's your spirit, that's your light. And it's important that you focus it right. You know, most of us are just, what's going to make me happy? And they did that. Disney did that. They made a whole movie. It's called WALL-E. You should watch it. We got fat. We went into space. We stopped exercising. We stopped dancing. We wanted to survive instead of thrive. And he said, I don't just want to survive, I want to thrive. I want to dance. Even if I break an ankle, it was still fun to dance with her. I want to take chances. Even if there's going to be something that could go wrong, at least I risked it. You know, there was an adventure. And even if I am not rich, I can still be a father. And this is where it comes down to fertility, babies, and the future. And I've been watching them, doing all those spaceships, talking about Mars colonies, talking about recycling, talking about, equality. This is it. The human race needs to race to fertility, bro. And that's this morning's motivation. That's the great race right now. It was a land grab at first. Now it's a baby grab. And I'm shocked by it. Utterly shocked by it. So there's a guy who's had multiple abortions against his will, doesn't have any babies and doesn't have any money, right? I have to race to myself thinking that if as soon as I become a provider, I can become a father. What I'm really trying to do is become free, where my land and my effort and my trees provide me enough shade for me and my family. And that's what I'm trying to build over here, you know what I mean? It's a whole nother thing when my cousin just had a baby. I just talked to him last night and I was like, that's his 5th one. He has a whole starting 5 team. He's got a whole NBA squad. How funny is that? 1 girl, 4 boys. I'm very proud of him. But he live in New Orleans. He ain't got a house. I don't even think they got married and they're still popping out babies. So what's your excuse? How is it that the Cambodians have a higher birth rate than American? Nigeria's blown up the world. You think that we're out of it? South America's the new one. Mexico has the youngest workforce in the world. They just overtook China. That's why the labor rate, it's down below us, not to across the ocean anymore. So it's a whole global experience. It's not just you, it's not just them, it's all of us, the human race. And that's the great race. That's what's more important than money. That's what's more important than wars. It's life. And there's been plenty of times where people strifed. You think about civil wars. How can we fight against each other when the enemy's at our gates? Ask Japan. They were a feudal state for 300 years. Then the Western world came. You can't stay isolated. We're all touching each other and we all need to work together. Call me a hippie, but I think it's dippy that we aren't trying to make everyone's life better. Why isn't Elon Musk, my boy here, cutting checks for the homeless? I will never know. About to be the first trillionaire in the world. Rockefeller didn't give back. Dale Carnegie did. What's Musk gonna do? What will Musk do? And that's the biggest question of the day. How are we gonna elevate all the homies? How are we going to make something of worth that's more than gold, more than money, and more than time? And that's life. And it's the most important thing going. If you can't hear the hawk in the trees, if you can't see the breeze and the bees, then you're missing it. It's all around us. And we need to be a part of it. And that's this morning's marijuana motivation. This is life. And the more that you get in tune with it, the more that you're winning that race. And that's your morning marijuana motivation. If you got anything out of this, boom, boom, peace and love. And as always, Chigathon. That means goodbye, but not forever and finish. And I will see you on the other side as soon as you like, share, and subscribe. But more importantly, bro, the other side of fear, the other side of your excuses, the other side of the world, that's where I'll be. You know, trying to win this human race. And I want you to win too. So I hope you got something out of this. Give it to your friend. Make it viral. Make everyone know that there's something better than money. And life is the best prize. Peace. I'll see you on the other side.